What's good, YouTube? It's your boy DUSHAQ back here with another video on the channel, and we're getting into another reaction. We're gonna be reacting to Jubilee, Middle Ground, Are We Allies? Black Americans versus Asian Americans. From the title, I feel like I kind of know what this is gonna be about, but you know, it could go into a lot of different topics. So, you know, let's get into it. Everyone in this video was tested for COVID-19.
You see my skin as dirty, and you also see my culture as dirty, and then people come over here and you start pressing me in my country that I helped build, my family helped build.
Ooh.
I think a misconception that Asian Americans have about Black Americans is that we are violent, rude, lazy.
If they was gonna do this, we all know what other race they should have had other than blacks, bro. We all know what race they should have had. I ain't got nothing against my Asian people. Hey, my Asian people, I mess with you heavy. But no, I'm pretty sure we know what a race they should have got instead of Asian. We all know. I ain't gonna say it though.
That we don't like or respect them.
George Huang woke this morning to find his mini mall burned to the ground.
They just don't seem to have any respect for the black community.
If anything, I'm not sure if there's enough knowledge about the Asian American culture to have a misconception, if that makes sense.
One of the biggest things I wanted to address is how much anti-Blackness is rooted in our culture. Sometimes it's very subtle, but is very deeply rooted.
Latasha Harlins, a black teenager, is shot and killed by a Korean store owner.
I think they have a lot of the quote-unquote good stereotypes, and I feel like a lot of black people deal with a lot of bad quote-unquote stereotypes.
Their oppression, is horrible, but Asian oppression is also horrible.
Asian people just want to hang out with Asian people only, like trying to talk with them or whatever. Sometimes they would just look at me and just like ignore me.
To be honest, like my experience with Asian people, I don't really think that's necessarily true. It may be like a few like that, but I feel like in a way, like Asians and blacks were kind of the same, because you see like, if you see some stuff on social media, like people like be like growing up black. Most of the time, Asians, they have that same upbringing as blacks too, and I think we're the same in that way. But that's just something small. Like I'm only like I'm only 17. I've only seen so much. So About Asian Americans and Black men to spark a dialogue about racial identity and tensions. Didn't even get to finish reading it.
My name is Lynn. I'm 30 years old. I'm an actor, and I'm also unemployed.
She does not look 30.
My name is Faith. I'm 21, and I'm currently an apprentice for a hair salon.
Hi, I'm Tony. I'm 35, a digital marketer and a podcaster.
Hi, my name
Tony
is Regina.
cool.
I'm 29. I currently work as a data engineer.
Regina Hall?
Hi, my name is Taylor. I'm 25, and I currently work as a program assistant for a nonprofit.
What's up, y'all? My name is Joseph. I am 27, and I'm an actor, musician, activist, and looking for work.
If you agree with the statement, I want you to step forward and take a seat.
I'm gonna tell y'all if I agree with it or not.
By white America.
Not in the slightest at all. And I'm not gonna go off on a rant because I kind of do, but I'm not gonna go off on a rant. I just don't feel like I need to be accepted by white people. Like some white people are like they're legitimately cool, but we all seen what white people can do, and the Capitol. I just don't feel like I need to be accepted by whites. If they want to accept me, they can. I don't really care whether or not they do. I care about being accepted by my peers, by my family, But hey, it is what it is.
Being accepted in white culture means, I guess I'm not like discriminated in a heavy way, and I think there is a level of comfort that I take in that. Not that doesn't mean I'm like going against like any other culture, but there is a comfort level, and I think it's a privilege that I have that I'm able to be looked that way, even though I'm a minority.
Yeah, I think it's a sad reality that I have to sit here, literally only because I think currently white America runs our society
and
our system.
And
in order for me to benefit myself, my family, I need to align with that sometimes. It actually gives me great anxiety when I step into a situation and I know I'm the only POC, because then suddenly I am in my head as to how should I act to have a normal conversation.
I understand
a lot
that.
of the times when I'm in a group setting, when everybody's Asian, especially Asian people who only have Asian friends,
100%. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I get this weird feeling that now you're gonna label me as the white one. And I hate that because I'm not white. It's just a really weird identity crisis.
It's the first time in my life I've heard someone say exactly what I've been feeling for my entire life.
Hey, I understand that though. I understand that a lot. I understand that a lot.
I hope that you can release yourself from the shackles of that, because you're never going to be, and I understand, but you're never going to be accepted. That's how they've set this country up. And like, as a black woman, I gave up on that a long time ago because I know I'll never be accepted.
I grew up in a conservative white area. It was such a big difference where I was like, you know what? I'm going to be the blackest person ever. So for me, it was one of those things of I had to learn how to be more respectful to their culture because I felt like they were trampling on mine so much. I went the opposite, almost militant black.
I respect her for doing that, because it's like so many people, they want to be accepted by it. Like, it could be on a small scale. You want to be accepted by, your friends at school, or it could be on a bigger scale where you want to be accepted by white America. I feel like we should just try and be ourselves. You see, like she said, she wanted to be as black as she could be, and I respect that a lot. I really do. I really do. Okay. I feel like we've all stereotyped at least once in our life, whether it was like as a joke or if it was like real. I mean, of course, but the type of stereotyping that I would do is more joke wise or like meme wise. I don't really like. I love people of all colors: white, Asian, Italian, Russian. I love all people. But come on now, I'm pretty sure you stereotype someone in some way, whether it was in a way to be funny or if it was like in a serious way.
I'll be honest.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think Asian people are cool personally, right? Like, I'll try to like, hang with them, because I love learning culture. So I'll try to like go and have conversations or whatever, and sometimes it's just been like this more like standoffish, like this is our group, and we have our own like little thing going on. And so I feel like for me, I was like, what's up with that, right? And so yeah, I mean, I've definitely had that pop into my head because it's something that you hear, and then when you see it, it's like your brain automatically just pulls up that stereotype.
Exactly.
I grew up in a predominantly East Asian neighborhood, Arcadia, in San Gabriel Valley. But there's still this group of like old white families there. They would say things, and I would, back in middle school, like I would kind of repeat it, not really understanding, like, oh, Asians are bad drivers. I'd be like, oh yeah, Asians are bad drivers. And then I'm like, no, that's really racist. Would I feel comfortable about somebody saying something like that about black people? Like, no, I wouldn't. So I kind of had to like correct myself.
My parents didn't hang out with anybody else than themselves, because it's that immigrant mentality. You kind of stick with each other to bring each other up because you feel as if you're other. You want to succeed in America. So if you've got a friend who is a mechanic, you need your car fixed, you're going to go to that guy because you speak the same language. And so you're around the same kind of people.
You're like, hold on, I get what she's saying. You're like on the same wave. Like, I get it, because it's like you want to stick with your people. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I haven't been drawn more to black people. Like, when I'm trying to make friends, I'm not going to say I haven't been drawn more to black people than a group of white people or a group of Latino people. I'm not going to say that I haven't. I mean, I'm pretty sure every black person has had that moment in their life. But it's like, we got to break out of that and just come together a little bit, in a way. I don't know.
I think that definition of other is really scary, because when you don't know what that other is, you start to make up what you think that might be, and that can be completely wrong.
Exactly.
A lesson I got when I was a kid from my dad was that your job is not to understand a culture, but respect the culture. And when I was young, I didn't really realize what that meant, but it had a profound impact on me. And I never saw that I was different. I wasn't treated I was different, and I think this is a minority. I don't think this is the case for everybody. But for me, because of that lesson before that I've had all throughout my life, and when I got there, I understood that it's a culture and I respected it, and I think there was a vibe that came from that too, right? I was able to receive, and I was also able to give. And I think because of that, I was able to not have that as I grew older.
Actually, growing up, I thought my brother was black. Because he had a lot of black friends. All I saw was his black friends. It's all he hung out with. So I would go to school and say, hey, I have a black brother, trying to make friends. Like, I was so adamant. And then, like, my mom.
That's an interesting way to make friends.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay.
And I was like 8 or something. And I was like, yeah, my brother is black. So I was like, cool. Like, I never had any bad ideas about black people. It wasn't until I started really watching the news that I learned, oh my gosh, they're getting stereotyped for things that I've never even seen a black person do.
I feel like they think that we kind of have a superiority, almost like white privilege, but in reality we don't, because we do struggle with the same issues.
I think some of my assumptions about Asian Americans are that they aren't necessarily fond of black people, or if they're not, they don't have any feeling one way or the other. They just prefer to be with their own. Not that I fault them, because that's how a lot of different races are.
COVID-19 has hit my community harder.
I honestly don't know the answer. My camera stopped recording. My camera just stopped recording. But no, I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I mean, of course I would know if I just looked at numbers and stuff like that. I honestly think COVID, I feel like it hit everybody kind of equally, to be completely honest. Like, on an emotional scale, I feel like it hit everybody kind of equally. On in an actual scale, like numbers, I mean, we all know that it hit minorities. It hit minorities harder. But I really don't know the answer to that question. I don't know.
In different ways, okay? Because COVID has hit the African American community hard in regards to us as patients. We are getting it the most. We are dying from it the most. I think it's hit us in that way, but it's hit Asian Americans in the way that you all are experiencing a lot of overt racism that I think a lot of you may not have experienced before.
So I've been personally attacked, verbally attacked.
Exactly, the whole Asian, because we all know that COVID came from Asia. We all know that it came from Asia or China, whatever. So yeah, I get that it will probably be harder for Asians, people just being like, oh, y'all started this, and then just starting stuff up. I would hate that. Yeah, I don't know, but it's
by people for being Asian. Did the protocol, I stood 6 feet apart, but they asked me to move further away because they treated me like I was just a full-on virus. I've seen my grandma get yelled at. That, I feel, is it's the Asians experiencing what black people have experienced, although it's not the same thing. It's, oh, you're Asian, so you're a virus,
It's hard because I actually help a lot of small businesses, and when I open their books and see what they can do, I literally have to give them objectively, you can't make it. You have to pivot, and they don't know how to do anything else, right? And I don't want to compare, but these are immigrants who literally don't know how to do anything else. So what are their opportunities next? So from that perspective, yeah, I think our community has been hit harder.
I think I'm going to personally feel, just because of what I've seen happen this whole year surrounding what's happened, I'm going to feel like there's been more disadvantage. But I know people that have been equally disadvantaged in terms of, you're Asian, but you're not American. and putting COVID on people or calling it the Kung flu or the Chinese virus. These are things that affect both of our communities.
When I first moved here, I took advantage of the beach and I decided I would wake up in the morning and go for a run. Someone walked by me and started saying something to me, and I didn't hear him necessarily. It was an older black man, and he called me some racial slurs and had alluded to me being Asian, me being dirty and eating bats, and I'm the cause of COVID happening.
What?
I face more racism from the opposite side than I do from
Oh no, we all know. Bro, we all know that, I feel like I don't even really gotta say nothing about it, but we all know that I feel like blacks and Asians equally get that, from white people. That's just how I think about it. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them stepped up though. Like,
Just me. I think it's true for me, but I think I'm a special case given the fact of the industry I work in. I work in the tech industry. I face a lot of just rude comments, ignorant comments, and just unnecessary things that are said to me by Asian people. I've had a few Asian coworkers that told me that the way that I talk is inappropriate, that my tone and my voice is inappropriate for the workplace, and I need to change that. I need to become more Americanized. And he said, don't worry, nobody else is going to tell you that, but I'm going to tell you that. And I get that more from my Asian coworkers and Asian managers than I do my white coworkers.
Okay, so that's just like a special case. That's from her line of work.
The only reason why I didn't come up and agree is because I have experienced a lot of racism from Asians just because I lived in an Asian neighborhood, but I really think that's it. I've lived in a white neighborhood, predominantly white neighborhood. I've lived in a predominantly East Asian neighborhood. And personally, I prefer living in a predominantly East Asian neighborhood because in my experience, they leave us alone. Like they're not necessarily like super neighborly, but I'm not really looking for that. Like the racism I've experienced from white people is so much more like in your face.
It's so much more
it's, hard for me.
I feel like the racism that we face from white people is so much more like on a personal level. Like you can, like if you were to be like racially like profiled or something, I feel like we feel that more from whites than we would feel it from any other race, because it's like we know the history behind that relationship. We know why that relationship is already tarnished. That's why we like when like if a white person called you the N-word, you would go off because like come on now, like who do you think you are calling me? Like I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, racism, it's a thing. It's here. I feel like it'll always be here no matter what because people just don't want to change. But yeah.
For me to hear these things because as somebody who's also worked at a tech company before, and I'm always a manager in position, and to have somebody talk to someone like that, I don't think our community as a whole, this is not the representation, I don't think they would give the same respect that you guys are giving. And it's not right. It's not right. The fact that you can do that and give us the benefit of the doubt is so kind. It's I don't think we deserve it. And I overall think that Asian communities are very racist. Not only racist against there are a lot of interracism. There's a lot of South and East racism that's prevalent. There's clear black, white, there's racism a lot. But the fact that we are getting the benefit of the doubt that I know that you guys have never been able to get from this culture, and you guys are still having the compassion to do it, really, I thank you. I think it's a very important discussion to have, especially I think as an Asian American. I've seen a lot of hypocrisy come from our side, and I think I wanted to have an opportunity to talk in a safe forum about it.
Okay.
Asian Americans are more advantaged than Black Americans?
I don't really know about this one either, to be completely honest with you. I don't really know. Like I said, I'm only 17. I haven't really experienced that much, so I wouldn't know the answer to some of these. But from what I've experienced so far, I feel like it's kind of equal. I don't think one is more advantaged than the other. I feel like both races are, similar in that way. Like when it comes to like small stuff, I'm pretty sure they're gonna elaborate, but
Well, we all agree.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think Asian American privilege is white privilege. I think a lot of my success and opportunities that I got was purely because of how people judged my skin color and ethnicity. They thought I was smart. They thought I spoke eloquently. They thought I fit a minority profile into their culture, whatever it may be. But I've never had a negative stereotype, which means I have an inherent advantage, which is the whole principle of white privilege, right? So I think I'd be very disingenuous in saying that I didn't get a lot of my successes or opportunities just because I'm Asian.
Yeah, I feel like there was that whole thing of good and bad stereotypes is really important. I would love some of those good stereotypes. Like when everybody thinks you're a thug, or everyone thinks you're ghetto, or everyone thinks that you're somebody's baby mama, especially the age I'm at now. That are all negative stereotypes and does affect me. It does affect me in the workplace. I would love to walk into the workplace and everyone assume, oh, she's the smartest in the room, or she went to a UC, or whatever good stereotype that is associated with Asian people. I would love to have that. And that's an advantage in some way because it allows you to have more opportunities where someone's making a quick judgment and they say, okay, who I'm going to work with. If they don't know you, they may pick that Asian person because there's already those assumptions that's already there.
Exactly,
So I do
exactly. That's exactly where it starts, bro. That's exactly where it starts. We either profile or we make assumptions, and those assumptions can be completely off from what the situation actually is. Like she said, imagine it's you and an Asian running for a job. They're more likely to pick the Asian because Black people have that negative stigma. For some reason, we have that negative stigma. I don't know.
East Asians actually have it better than Southeast Asians in terms of because we're darker. Yeah. It's all at the end of the day. It's all skin tone.
Yeah, I would echo that. I definitely think it's based off of skin tone. Yeah, if you're East Asian, Chinese, Taiwanese, Korean, you have, in my opinion, more advantages than someone who's Filipino. Like my friend who was Filipino told me, oh, we're the Black people of Asians. Yeah. So but I do think that Asian Americans have more advantages than Black Americans because simply you all didn't have to go through the systemic oppression that African Americans have had to go through due to slavery.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think the Asian Americans that wouldn't be here right now and that would disagree are the people who bought into the model minority myth because that was...
Hold on, a model minority is a minority demographic whose members are perceived to achieve a higher degree of socioeconomic success than the population average. Okay, so that's basically saying middle class. Most Blacks, they aren't middle class. So, I mean, there's a good percentage of Blacks that are middle class, and then there's the high class Blacks. That I feel like that's what that's tapping into. They wouldn't perceive that that stigma because they've had a different life.
Basically brought on to us as a way to somehow align us with whiteness in the sense that, yeah, we're accepted because we're smart and we were hardworking and whatnot. And although that's all true, it's also saying you're a good minority, therefore there must be a bad minority.
Exactly.
And so that's wedging. When they want us, we're on their side. And then when they don't want us, then they push us aside.
I wonder often as an Asian leadership in a big company myself, sometimes how people perceive of me. Because I know that I'm articulate and I fit a lot of that stereotypes, but I also have a feeling that there's a very negative side to it. Exactly. Oh, he's only this, or he can only be this, or he's perfect for this,
accepted,
right?
But
exactly. So that's a whole separate struggle, but I would rather have much of that as a negative stereotype for me than a lot of the stereotypes I think Black Americans get on a daily basis, where that's not even an opportunity.
I think because there's such anti-blackness in the Asian community, even coming from Asia, there's already a bias when you have these first, second generations. There's already that bias there. Yes. But then when they come here, they're taught that black is bad, white is good, don't be like these people. So you're already kind of forming this enemy type of
I'm trying to fit in.
You're forming an enemy based on what you're hearing.
Don't be
I
like
even
black
heard
people.
Asian people say uncool things to me because they're like, oh, you're black, so you're gonna steal. So they'll follow me or just look at me, and I'm like, am I gonna steal a 25-cent gum? Like, I'm not gonna risk it all for that, right? So I think it's just like that frustration of you seeing my skin as dirty, and you also see my culture as dirty, and then people come over here and you start pressing me in my country that I helped build, my family helped build. Like, it's that anger that's kind of there, and I feel like that adds to the tension. I don't believe Asian Americans are dumped on as much as African Americans are in America because they are a smaller minority. They're not the first thing that comes to mind.
Exactly.
Black and Asian Americans coexist peacefully.
I feel like it depends. I feel like that depends. It depends on the situation, to be completely honest.
This one's hard because I think the peace is due to the fact of not talking.
Yeah.
I don't think it's due to anything really but that. It's the fact that that's them over there and we're over here.
Yeah, I think we coexist peacefully, but that doesn't mean we're progressing together because we both are just minding our own business.
Yeah.
But we really shouldn't be because we're both living in the same society that is oppressing both of us in different ways. Why can't we open that door, have this conversation, and try and help each other as far as like helping each other's businesses, you know, working together? We never really see that, and I'm hoping for more of that, honestly.
That's what I was saying. I was saying like with Asians and blacks, we're kind of in the same boat. To be completely honest, we're kind of in the same boat when it comes to, you know, small stuff like that. I get what they're saying about the coexist peacefully, and it's like, okay, y'all over there, we over here. We just not gonna mess with them. But like they said, that's not actually like really coexisting because they're not like growing together. I get it.
Okay, so I think we can coexist peacefully. I just don't think I've seen enough of it. I think that the culture that we're living in right now, everybody's trying to act like we've progressed so far beyond because we're seeing all this stuff on social media or there's certain things that are not socially acceptable. But there's a problem with that because if we don't start talking about things that are potentially harmful that we have within us towards our neighbor, right? I can't love my neighbor effectively if I'm not honest with them. I think we need to start having more of these controversial conversations and being able to say, okay, you know what? I might have an offensive perspective, but at the end of the day, I need to get over that hump. So I need to be honest with you about some things that I might have had in my life and in my past so that not only can I progress, but I can grow.
Exactly.
This has been such like an eye-opener just to me. Because y'all some dope people, for real. like y'all are cool.
I'm blown away by the compassion that y'all continue to have. And I wish all Asian Americans and Asians in general can learn from that. And I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart.
What's up?
Okay.
Elbow bump. Hey, 6 feet away. 6 feet away. 6 feet away. That was good. That was good. And I feel like it really appealed. I feel like it really appealed to, you know, me because I'm black, right? I'm black. Like I said, I'm only 17. I haven't had much experience with like Asians, but I have seen a lot of stuff. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. Hey, hopefully we can just grow together, maybe. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Like, subscribe. I want to thank y'all for watching this, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. Peace.